What is going on, YouTube people? We are here today for another edition of the weekly sports card market update. Time flies as we begin to head towards the end of September. Already week 3 of the NFL season. Boy, oh boy, where has time gone? Philly show this weekend was one of the larger shows. I did not attend. I haven't seen much from it. I know there's a big Collecticon this weekend as well. I heard that was absolutely insanely busy. I saw some chatter about that online and talked to a few people that were down there. My local show is today. So as you are all listening to this, I am roaming around the card show in Canton. Probably first thing in the morning, right as this video launches. I am probably walking in the door to check that out, get the local vibes, see what is going on with the scene. Nothing I'm particularly hunting for. I picked up that Pokemon case last week of the new release, Stellar Crown, from my local LCS that sets up at the shows. So I snagged that. I picked up some PC stuff the last couple of weeks. I got that ComC shipment in. And I actually just picked up another card that I posted over on Instagram from friend of the channel, Brad Beeman, that runs the Ship Shawana show. Picked up a sweet Star Wars auto. I'll save that for a video in the future. But if you're curious what that is, you can go find that over on Instagram. We got a lot of news to get into, mostly new releases. Just a ton of product dropped this week, and we got a ton more coming. So without further ado, shout out to today's video sponsor, ComC. Friends of the channel, ComC, sponsoring the weekly sports card market update. They always have all sorts of stuff going on. I shipped out that box of cards that you may or may not seen that video earlier this week. It has already begun processing. Out of that 80 or 90 some cards, I think I shipped those on Saturday, late last week. I recorded it late last week when the video went up early this week. Regardless, last night, 2 cards already popped up. An Elly De La Cruz Topps Heritage rookie and something else. I forget what the other card was. The Elly De La Cruz rookie has already sold. So it was like $3, I think that card was. So minus the ingestion fee, made like $2 on that card, give or take. So $2 more added into the old account. I am creeping towards $5,000 in sales. I'll hit it with this batch of cards going in. I was just under it. I'm like $20 short, but I was running out of inventory. So hopefully this new thing boosts it up, and then I will burn through that inventory, sell that stuff, and go find the next little batch of PC cards, or, you know, condense that down into a slab, whatever the case might be, depending on what mood strikes me and what I find on the site after I sell that stuff. That is how I, in particularly, like to use ComC. There's no wrong way to do it, but that is the system that seems to work best for me. So if you're not checking them out, head on over to ComC. Even if you don't want to send stuff in to sell, maybe you'll find something you want to buy. First up, we did not talk about this. This kind of crept up in the middle of the week. Backyard Breaks has partnered with GameStop for a repack. You can see it in this image here. Flamethrower X GameStop. Flamethrower, I believe, is one of the known Backyard Breaks repacks that they put together. I think they said there's like 3,000, or they're in 3,000 different stores or something. I forget. Regardless, Backyard Breaks partnering up with GameStop. If you were wondering where all those junk slabs like to go, here you sit. So this has to probably be a pretty nice deal for them to get these in GameStop's hands. There's $1,000 golden tickets or some nonsense. What I would be curious to know here is Backyard Breaks actually putting these together, or is GameStop using the cards that they got back from their trade-in program and they partnered with Backyard for the branding of the box instead of just, you know, GameStop football repack? They did like a co-marketing deal with Backyard so they could call it Flamethrowers and then have them pump it a little bit for them. So I don't know where the inventory is coming from. If it's Backyard that's putting these together themselves, or if it's GameStop using their inventory. To me, That makes the most logical sense, but I do not know that for sure. If anyone has insight on that, feel free to fire away. But that's my guess, as these are football cards that were acquired via trade-in that they are bundling up and using a branding deal with Backyard to put the Flamethrower logo on it and have him dress up like a Oompa Loompa and come out and pump the product for all their loyal customers to run out and gobble up and probably get smoked. Don't know. I have not seen any of these. I will not go hunting for them. I can frankly care less to open this product. I get smoked by Topps and Panini enough. I don't need Backyard to do it as well. So just interesting news there. Something to keep an eye on. Like I said, I'd be curious to know whose inventory is actually getting used here. Topps Now. We discussed this in a standalone video. Their football cards with Topps Now continue to be photoshopped. They had the first batch come out, and then they had a second batch come out for week 2, and those were photoshopped as well. Ben Burrows over at Collect did an article on it to kind of signal boost it even more from the ones that Kyle initially found. I saw Sports Card Investor talked about this as well in their Cards on the Table video. We'll see what happens this week. I am sure they'll have a couple cards that they will want to put out. Have they gotten the message? And do not Photoshop Topps Now cards. I get it, photoshopping for the mainline set. I have no real issue with that. But the whole point of Topps Now is this is his first career TD, highlights 10 catch, 127-yard game on with a date and everything on here. And it is an image from years previous. That just does not sit well with me. Overall, I've liked what Topps has done with Topps Now over the last few years. I like that line a lot. I just think it's great for collectors. If you just want a card from a particular game or event, don't tarnish that by using these photoshopped images for that product. Keep that to your mainline stuff. Speaking of Topps Now, and probably the biggest story of the week, Ohtani. 50-50. And I think he hit another one last night. I think he's at 52 now. They came out with a Topps Now 50-50 card. They've actually already came out with a Topps Now 52-52 card. This one will be a big chase. They'll print 1 billion of these things. It has a chance for the 1-of-1 50-50 club inscription. Cool card if you can hit it. There'll be 1 billion of these things printed. The parallels of this will probably do pretty well, but the base cards, you'll get smoked on these. They'll go for a couple of bucks. There's image variations, all sorts of different nonsense. I still, to this day, I don't know how many Topps Now products I have purchased. Quite a few. Of base cards where you could potentially have the chance for something extra, I have yet to get anything extra. I just get the base cards. The only time I've gotten upgraded on parallels were the more limited print things where there was only like 99 to begin with. Like on the Ellie De La Cruz triple base thing, I got a better version of that, but there's only 100 to begin with, so it's a lot easier to get upgraded on that. But when it comes to like buy the 5-pack of base cards or whatever, I don't think I've been bumped up once yet with a additional parallel. So maybe this will be the one. I doubt it, but we'll take my lottery ticket shot at the 1-of-1 Ohtani. And more on Ohtani in a bit as we look at some of his card prices, as his stuff is just to the moon right now. It was a big release week for Topps. They had a couple different products hit. I was, air quote, lucky enough to win one of them, sadly. More on that in a minute. And missed out on the one that I actually wanted to win, which was Topps Chrome Sapphire Baseball. These came up for $350 a box. They are currently sitting at about $450 to $500 a box, just depending. I put in for 2 of these, 2 boxes and 1 case, and lost on both entries. That's 2 separate entries, one for individual boxes and one for a case. And I whiffed out on both, unfortunately. Decent. The base checklist on these is massive. It is 700 cards. The auto checklist, which you are guaranteed 1 auto per box, is not terrible. It's a little bloated, but not as bad as it has been in years past. So guaranteed one auto per box. You have an okay chance at pulling something halfway decent. Absolutely loaded rookie class in here overall. But unfortunately, I struck out on these. I will not be paying secondary market prices. If I would have got one for $350, I would have ripped it. Also, circling back to something from earlier this week, Topps update, the checklist did end up coming out. Skeens is in it. So at some point in time, I am sure I will pick up a jumbo or a hobby box or two of Topps update just to rip, see what it's all about. That's a fairly affordable rip. I think a hobby box of that is $100 or less. So we'll give that a whirl just for something to do one day in the near future once that releases. The other product that came out for drops this week, currently sitting at about $600-ish. I've seen these go for $575 all the way up to $625. Topps Chrome Sapphire Basketball. That's right, the Sapphire version of Pajama Party. I was lucky enough to win one of these boxes. I am thrilled. Can you hear the excitement in my voice? I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with this. It'll probably get delivered on Monday, looking at tracking, maybe Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to open it or not. Let's be honest. I'm probably going to end up opening it. I'm probably going to end up recording a video on it. It will probably end with Fade to Black Sadness, most likely. I kind of FOMO'd into this product a little bit. Base Sapphire Wemby cards are going for about $300, though that's only a few sales. I expect that to settle down. I don't think I've seen an auto pulled. There just hasn't been a lot of this ripped yet. Most of the boxes are still in shipping, heading to people unless you happen to live pretty close to Texas, where they were shipped from. So not a ton of this has been opened up yet. There's not really, at $600, you're basically breaking even by flipping it by the time you factor in eBay fees and all the messing around with taxes and everything. You basically make no money on this thing. So even at a $600, you always got to keep that in mind. I think people forget about that. You see $600 and it sold for $500. When you factor in that you probably paid sales tax on it to buy it, eBay is going to take 15% on the other side. And then if you actually do profit, you're going to lose a percentage of that. There's really not, on this particular product, a ton of money to be made. You are basically breaking even. Now, that could shift. We'll have to see how this does once people start breaking it. Maybe more demand comes to it. I'm not high on that. I think a lot of people got skunked by the regular product and they don't want to shell out for this. Topps also pulled a little bit of a bait and switch with this. On the initial pre-release marketing, it was 2 autos per box. And then when it went up for sale, it looks like it's maybe only 1 auto per box. And I think that kind of scared people away a little bit, justifiably so. I kind of didn't realize that, honestly, when I purchased it. I just assumed it was still 2 autos per box. I'm glad I only ordered 1, that's for sure. So we'll see. I would love to say I'm smart enough to not open this, but me punching myself in the face opening a box of this will probably be good content. Something I will probably not be ordering, just to mention this as well. We won't spend a ton of time on this because we did a standalone video. 2023 Topps Mercury. This is the 8K Wemby box. This is coming out in October. So you got a few weeks to raise the credit limit on your credit card. So you could potentially chase this. This thing will sell out instantly. They're doing the EQL drop on this. It's probably going to be a pain in the butt to get one. They're probably going to go for a decent amount on the secondary market. I don't know how much markup there'll be on them. Risky proposition there. But when you factor what you're getting, the more and more I've thought about it, this does seem like not the worst deal in the world. That they could potentially charge even more for this, as scary as that sounds. Just when you look at what Flawless and NT boxes go for to potentially chase what, the top hit in the product would be. And in this box, you're guaranteed 2 of them, one of which being a guaranteed RPA of some sort. That's pretty good. So I wish it wasn't or I wish it was licensed, not unlicensed, but Topps' hands are tied on that for another couple years. We'll see. We will see what this product ends up doing. This will be a fascinating one to watch. I guess they are going to do this going forward for one player every year. I don't know if that's by sport or just straight up one player per year going forward. So there's nothing to say, could you imagine, it doesn't have to be a rookie. So once they get licensed, could they do a Topps Mercury LeBron where they have him sign a couple hundred cards and do a 10K LeBron box where you're guaranteed, a couple different autos. They could have him in different jerseys because of the different teams that he's been on. You could do dual autos with him and you could do a triple auto with him, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving. And then one with him, Dwayne Wade, and Bosch. And then you could do a Lakers one with him, AD, and Bronny or something. There's a lot of different ways you could go with that if they wanted to do something like this for other players and potentially other sports. And there's nothing to say that they couldn't do it once the player's been retired. This could be, here, put this in, I would guarantee this almost. When LeBron retires, they do a Topps Mercury LeBron career history box and lay it out like I just talked about. You can have triple dual autos from multiple different teams. You have the different patch autos. They could get game used stuff, the whole 9 yards. They could put out a really nice high-end LeBron product with this if they so chose. Hopefully they would wait until they got licenses to do that. Please, which I guess will be next year at this point. So I would expect them to do things like that. If a LeBron version of this thing came out, that would be tempting for me. I'm not going to lie. That would be pretty tempting as someone that is hunting for a LeBron auto as is. Panini got into the game as well with releases. Prism Deca. If you're not familiar with this, they really didn't do a great job marketing this, in my opinion. This is essentially a throwback product to the OG Prism. Not bad looking cards, in all honesty. That Luca looks pretty nice. There are some singles already on the market. This is what the Wemby looks like. Honestly, this is the base from Prism Deca, to me looks way better than the Prism base out of 2023 Prism. I just think this is a way better looking card. The image is way better. It's from an actual game. There's not a curtain in the background. You actually have fans behind him. The image is way cooler with him holding the ball way up in the air like that. If I was going to go for a Wemby, base rookie, I'm just a big Spurs fan or a Wemby guy or whatever, I think this looks way better than his regular Prism stuff, to be 100% honest with you. Now, I don't know what the print run is on this. I don't know, what the prices are going to settle in on this. There's silvers of this as well, I believe, which will probably look amazing in this. So I don't give props to Panini very often. To me, this actually looks really nice. I would love to see, once again, there's not a lot of this on eBay yet because this stuff's still getting opened. I would much rather have a silver of Prism Deca than regular Prism, to be 100% honest with you. The image is just way better and the design is way better. And silvers in this old Prism style look fantastic compared to the more modern ones just because of the way the card's design. So something to keep your eyes peeled there. Switching over to market rumors, let's look at some charts and graphs. Link in the description down below, along with a discount code. Get 20% off for life and a free trial if you want to practice or try out or get access to your own versions of charts and graphs. Starting off, we've been kind of checking in on these for the last basically month now. Topps Chrome Hobby Boxes and Topps Composite Football have settled in a little bit. Topps Composite actually dropped a little bit, and Topps Chrome Basketball has dropped a little bit. Composite's under $400 a box now, and Chrome Basketball is under $500 a box now. I don't know if this is just the hype cycle's wearing off, because no one's really talking about this stuff that much anymore, Or, is it that Sapphire has come out now and, people care about Sapphire and not the base tops chrome? Is it that Motif or whatever the hell it's called is out now? The autograph heavy product is out and everyone's focused on that and doesn't care about composite anymore. I don't know. But prices on these do seem to be cooling a little bit. I am not super surprised by that, but we'll see where they end up. On the single side of things, just looking at Wemby here, his refractor is down to $125. I'd imagine that continues to creep down as more and more of that product gets ripped. And now we have Sapphire stacked on top of it. These Prism Decas, a lot of competition for Wemby rookies. I have a feeling that one continues to sneak down. His auto's sitting just under 2K right now. We haven't really seen much in the way of graded stuff come back yet, but I would imagine that will continue to settle in probably in that high, like 1.7, 1.8 ish area. I don't know if I see it dropping way below that before the season starts. Obviously, once the season starts, everything's out the window. It's going to take a lot of work to move Wemby numbers up. And it's not a slight on him. It's just there are so many of his cards. So, and now you have two companies producing them. That's a little bit scary. The population or the overall pop report on Wemby, when you combine Topps and Panini, is going to be a massive number, just a massive number. That'll be something intriguing to keep an eye on via gem rate reports as time moves on. Next up, we got to talk about Ohtani. We have got to talk about Ohtani. His stuff is going crazy, absolutely crazy. This is all of his, not all, but a decent chunk of his just base rookies. 2018 Topps Chrome base PSA 10, 2018 Chrome Update PSA 10, just a regular Topps pitching paper, the update paper, just all his just normal stuff, nothing super crazy. Everything in basically a $200, $150 to $200 range. Look at how crazy it has gone. And I'm going 180 days here, so this takes it back to the very end of March. One, everything is insanely up. 60%, 50%, 100%, 100%, 125%, 45%, 45%. And you can see how much of that has been in the last basically month, give or take. If I shorten this thing up a little bit and just go back to the last 60 days, you really see it, especially towards the end. Things were already creeping up as the season went along, but you really see the jump ups there in the last probably week or so, especially with him hitting 50-50 this past week. Now, what was interesting to me, and I'm going to dig a little bit more into this week. This could just be nothing. It could just be Ohtani. So just pay attention here. We're going back 180 days. The percentage gains on all this stuff, it's basically 50% to 100% or better. Now let's switch over and look at, these are his refractors. So this is the 2018 Topps Chrome refractor, PSA 10. I threw in the pink. I threw in the Prism, the rookie debut pink refractor, and I also threw in his Bowman Chrome batting. This is a pretty popular card of his for his rookie year as well. Same time frame, 180 days. The refractor's up 40%. Okay. The pink refractor is only up 8%. The Prism refractor is down. The rookie debut is up 8%. And the Bowman is up 30%. And same thing, you see a lot of that movement happening in the last 30 to 60 days, with a lot of it really just kind of ticking up right here. It could just be nothing. It could just be Ohtani. I just found it intriguing how his base non-refractor stuff is seeing way bigger increases percentage-wise than his refractors. I just found that interesting. I'm going to look at some other players and see if there's something there. I think for Ohtani specifically anyway, without having a bigger sample size, what this really boils down to is price point. And I think what you're going after is the more casual buyer. Ohtani's going crazy. Dodger and Ohtani fans are like, you know what? I want a rookie card of Ohtani. Oh, okay. his Topps rookie, PSA 10. I've heard PSA 10's a good brand. PSA 10, that's the good one. You know, you want that one. And here's his Topps mainline set rookie. Cool. Oh, it's like $100. Great. Bing, buy it. Oh, it's $125. Bing, buy it. Even though there's a lot of them out there, the demand for Ohtani is so crazy right now, it can shift it like that. And I think the price points on these cards being very entry level and being very much in that FOMO range. Yes, you have a lot bigger pop counts. Like the pop on the Ohtani Chrome is 13,000. This card is not hard to find. It is up 51% over the last 180 days. And depending on how you want to play with endpoints, it got cheaper in the summer and is actually up even more if you go from the middle of summer. The fact that it's readily available and the fact that it is affordable makes that a big deal. You know, that card was, let's see, what was it going for about a month ago? $140, $150. That's very much in the, sure, I'll just smack bin on eBay range. I don't need to do any heavy research into this. I just want the card. I just want an Ohtani card because I'm a big Dodger fan or big Ohtani fan. So like I said, I need to do a little bit more digging to see how this flushes out with other players that have had massive run-ups. So I don't want to dive too deep into it without doing research. So maybe a video on this later this week. We'll see what I can find when I dig a little bit deeper. But I think at a base level, that's really what it comes down to, is affordability, accessibility, and people just wanting to have a card of him. So they gravitate towards that because of the price point. So just some interesting numbers there. And we'll see how this goes. You know, by next week, maybe the refractors shoot way up. Maybe there's just a little bit of a lag time because of the increased prices on those. We'll see. But Ohtani is continuing to go crazy to close out this season. Last one to look at here, just a check in on football really quickly, as crashing prices take a little bit more time to play out, but we are now beginning to see that. Will Levis down 50% on his silver PSA 10. Bryce Young down 60% on his PSA 10. Now, Tua has not had a PSA 10 sale since the injury, so that card's still air quote sitting at $500, but the PSA 9 is also down about 40%. I would expect the PSA 10 to drop about the same. Still no update on what's going on with him other than he's on IR and kind of reevaluating the situation. I don't know when the next Tua would sell, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be in that $250 to $300 range to kind of line up with where that 9 is going for. So these guys continue to crash, and then maybe next week. So far, no one is really popping off this year. There was a couple rookies the first week of the season, but no one's going like straight to the moon so far this year. There's definitely been some increases, but nothing super, super crazy. None of the young quarterbacks are breaking out. Stroud's doing just enough to maintain. These guys all fell on their face. So we'll see how week 3 goes, and maybe do a little, quarter poll check-in that we're 3 weeks in this upcoming week. That is all I got for you, boys and girls. Everyone have fun, relaxing, watching another full day of football as we are in the thick of it now. Good luck to all your fantasy teams. We will catch you, boys and girls, on the next one. Peace.